Hi Scorpio, this is your love and relationship reading for the month of September. Before I get straight into the reading, I just want to let you know that I am trying a new format. I have done this format with Libra, and I did try a different format to this one with Gemini. So as I said, I'm trying a different way. You know, if you don't like this way, then please let me know in the comments, and if you do like it, then obviously let me know about that as well. So just bear with me, because as I said, you know, it is new, and I'm trying to feel my way around reading the cards in this way. But as usual, the cards have been pre-shuffled and I've laid them out only to save time, and we're going to get straight into the reading. Now, the first card we have is the Two of Cups. Now, the cups are your energy. They are water, and they do represent yourselves, Scorpio, as well as Pisces and Cancer. Water energy, does represent our emotions and our feelings. This first card has fallen within the position of how you view your partner. Now, this card is showing that you could be looking at your partner as somebody who wants commitment, okay? Somebody who maybe wants to take it to the next level of an engagement / marriage. Somebody who wants to feel loved and valued. And as I said, who is looking for more of a commitment now within this relationship. The next card we have is the Eight of Cups. Now, this has fallen within the position of how your partner is viewing you at the moment. It is possible that they are seeing you at the moment as possibly withdrawing in some way. That it's almost like you're emotionally becoming maybe slightly distant. It's almost like they feel that you are trying to escape this relationship, or to escape a deeper commitment within the relationship. It's like they are thinking that you are trying to find a deeper meaning, possibly to life in general at the moment, and your life in general, or you are trying to find a deeper meaning within this relationship. They could see you as being somebody that, you know, has achieved quite a lot at the moment, but is still not feeling completely fulfilled in some way. Now, the next card we have is the Queen of Cups, which is reversed. Now, this has fallen within the position of your needs. Now, the thing I want to say as well, we've got 9 cards in this spread, and 4 of these cards are all Cups cards. So this reading is just flowing with your energy throughout it. The Queen of Cups reversed, and as I said, this is your needs, okay? The Queen of Cups reversed is showing that at the moment you may feel that your partner, or both of you, could be out of touch with each other. Now, you may not be, well, I would say most definitely you're not voicing that. I think that's something that you are feeling internally, because with the Queen of Cups, it can be about somebody being secretive at the moment in connection with their emotions and feelings. And it's possible as well that you feel forced to restrict how you really feel at the moment. And it's like you want to say what you really want and feel, be it positive or negative. But for some reason, you're feeling restricted. You're feeling that you can't speak your truth and you can't say what it is emotionally or in any aspect really that you really want. So you're kind of holding it all in at the moment, but really wanting to voice it, but feeling restricted in some way. And the thing is, when you feel like this, you know, you could end up getting to that point where you reach boiling point, because I feel that in some way you are feeling dissatisfied in some way with this relationship. And as I said, maybe you are feeling restricted in some way as well. And you are wanting to say how you really feel, but for some reason you can't. Now here we have the Three of Cups reversed. This has fallen within the position of your partner's needs. Okay? Now, with the Three of Cups, it can show a need that they may want to, I don't want to say party, but they may want to let their hair down a little bit more. Maybe they feel that the relationship is, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. I can't think of the word. Maybe it will come to me. It's like they feel like some disappointment within the relationship. I feel that they think the relationship's not going in the way that they thought it was going to go. Now, the Three of Cups sometimes can indicate a third party involved in some way, okay? Now, they could be thinking that a third party is involved somehow within this relationship. It doesn't have to mean that they think you're physically with a third person. It doesn't have to mean that there is physically a third party in the relationship. But it could mean that either you or they are thinking possibly about another person. It could show as well that they are possibly feeling the need to isolate themselves from their close friends at the moment. Maybe due to the intensity of what's going on at the moment, that they are feeling a need to isolate themselves from others around them in some way. It can show as well that somebody could be blinding, you know, maybe they have this real need for passion, okay? And for this, maybe they are quite a passionate person and they have these passionate needs. And that could be blinding them to the reality of what this relationship is actually truly about. Now, this is the Four of Wands. The wands represent fire. They represent Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Now, as I always say to you, I tell you the signs, but it doesn't mean you're dealing with somebody from one of those signs, okay? It's just that these particular suits, each suit does represent certain sun signs. But more often than not, it's the energy of this card rather than the sun sign. Now, we've got the Four of Wands reversed, okay? This has fallen within the current state of the relationship. Now, it can show at the moment that there is a lack of stability overall within this relationship. That there may have been some arguments or disagreements, or that things are just not feeling completely peaceful and happy overall at the moment, either from your side or from the other person's side, or both of you. But either way, it shows a lack of stability and a lack of peace within this relationship at the moment. Now, we have here the Eight of Swords. The swords are air. They represent our mind, our thinking. It's all to do with our thoughts and our mind. The swords represent Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Now, this has fallen within the position of the path that you would like this relationship to go. And to be honest with you, at the moment, I think you just don't know. Or you do know, but you don't want to face the truth. Because the lady in the picture is blindfolded and bound up. But she's bound very loosely. Behind her is no swords. There's a gap behind her. She can easily take the blindfold off, loosen the bounds, and walk away. But something at the moment, purely because you feel at the moment that a decision needs to be made, okay? But you're kind of trying to prevent yourself from making this decision. You're fearing making this decision because you don't know what will happen. It's like sometimes if you can't see something, or if you can't see it, then it's not happening. It's that type of thing. But the only problem is, when it's like that, you're keeping yourself trapped mentally within this situation, within this mindset, and that's never going to solve the problem. This lady needs to take the blindfold off, and she needs to face up to what is happening and deal with what's happening. Now, she could take the blindfold off and find that everything's not as bad as she actually thought, or she could take the blindfold off and see that things aren't as good as they should be. But either way, nothing's going to be solved as long as she stands in this position and keeps herself like that. The only way she can free herself mentally now is to take the blindfold off, set herself free and look at things in a logical way. Don't be over emotional now with any choice or decision you have to make. Be logical with the decision, but you need to take the blindfold off now and to start using sheer logic and be realistic about how things actually are. Now, here we have the Hanged Man. It's actually your only major arcana card on the table. This has fallen within the path that your partner wants the relationship to go. Now, as I said, it is a major arcana. The Hanged Man is reversed. Now, with the Hanged Man being reversed, it's like there is a refusal to change or to examine true attitudes, okay? It's about gaining fresh perspective on a situation. Now, it's possible that the other person is feeling that you are refusing to change, or that you are refusing to examine your true attitudes towards this relationship, okay? And they could either be feeling that they are in limbo at the moment and not able to have any real fresh insight into what's going on because of the way you are being at the moment, as we see with the Eight of Swords. Or it's possible that they see you as being in limbo at the moment and unable to make a decision either way. But whether it's them or you, they know that decisions need to be made about the long-term future of this relationship. And they know that to do that, the true attitudes of either of you are going to have to be examined. The true needs and wants for both of you within this relationship are going to have to be spoken about. That some fresh perspective is going to have to be found in regards to this relationship as to whether it's going to be able to move on or end. Now, here we have the Nine of Swords, okay? It's not a great card to have. It's fallen within the aspects of the relationship to consider. Now, basically, it's quite self-explanatory, this card. You can see the man is up at night, okay? He's got his head in his hands. You know, he may be having trouble sleeping. He's worrying. He's got things going around and around in his head. Mental anguish, stress, maybe having feelings of guilt about something or some things. It's possible that there's been arguments. Now, quite often with this card, the person in it, quite often during the day, people wouldn't necessarily know that something was troubling them, because they tend to feel that the way they're feeling tends to really manifest itself in the nighttime hours, when they are possibly more on their own. And when they're trying to sleep, they can't sleep because all these things are going around and around in their head. So I feel at the moment, either you or your partner or both of you are feeling this way at the moment. And, you know, it's not a good way to feel, because it's showing that there is a really dreadful time of anxiety and stress. I would think it's more you that is possibly feeling this way. And as I said, you're doing it in the kind of, you know, the lonely hours of night when you're on your own, or possibly your partner is sleeping, and that's when it's all coming out. That's when these feelings are manifesting within yourself. And it's like through your working day, you're maybe able to push these feelings aside, or just keep them buried at the moment during the daytime hours. But at night, as I said, that's when it starts, because you're trying to sleep and you can't, because you've got worry and stress going around in your head. You, as I said, you could be having feelings of guilt. There's possible that there could have been arguments during the day, and then these are replaying in your mind when you're trying to sleep. But either way, it's not a good card, because nobody should have to feel like that. Nobody should be so full of worry and stress that it's keeping them awake at night. Now here we have the Six of Swords, okay? This is the outcome card. Now, the Six of Swords can be interpreted in two ways, okay? So I'm going to tell you both ways. And it may not completely clarify the outcome, but we'll see. Literally, with the Six of Swords, you can see the people are in the boat and the swords are in the boat with them, okay? And they're obviously they're moving somewhere new. Nobody in the boat at any point is looking back. They're all looking forward, okay? Now, as I said, with the two ways this card can be represented, because the swords as well being in the boat with them, and as I've told you, the swords are to do with our mind and our thoughts. So, you know, it's like they are mentally and physically moving themselves away. The swords represent mentally, and obviously them in the boat is they're moving away physically. So the two sides of this is either you or your partner or both of you are going to decide to physically and mentally leave this relationship and let it go and end it. Or both of you are going to decide to try to put an end to all the arguments and all the stress and worry, and then move on mentally with each other. As I said, it's two ways. Because as well, if it's an actual departure from this relationship, then the Six of Swords, it's about healing, okay? It's about that physical and mental departure from something to be able to heal yourself and allow the healing process to begin. But as I said, on the flip side, it could be that you both decide to put an end to whatever has been creating these issues within the relationship, and you both decide to move forward together with a clearer understanding and having to put an end to all the arguments and stress and worry. Because, to be honest with you, things are not particularly great for either both of you or one of you at the moment within this relationship. And this Nine of Swords with this man in the bed, that situation cannot continue like that. So it's either you both decide to put an end to that and you move forward together and heal the relationship and create some peace and harmony. Or one of you decides, enough. I cannot live like this anymore. I cannot be having all this worry and stress and feelings of guilt and mental anguish going around and around and around in my head all the time. So then you decide to physically walk away from the relationship. So, Scorpio, that does conclude your reading for the month of September. To be honest with you, it wasn't overly positive, and I don't like to do readings when they're like this. The reading was absolutely full of emotions here, okay? As I said, we had 4 cut cards on the table. So we've got all of your energy on this table, but certainly there is a lot of heavy emotions. And somebody is going through a lot of stress and worry and feelings of guilt at the moment. And, you know, if it's not you, then it's your partner. But either one of you are suffering at the moment. And it's not nice. So I think really the final decision has to be that you both either decide to sort this out once and for all and move forward together, or you both make the decision that this relationship is never going to be exactly how you both want it to be, and you decide to call time on it and you walk away. But either way, a decision's got to be made now, because that Nine of Swords situation, as I said, it's not fair that somebody is feeling that way, and it needs to stop. So, first of all, I'm sorry it wasn't overly positive, but you know, maybe not all is lost. Maybe you will be able to work things out. It really depends on what you both really want and what you both really feel. As I said, this is a different format. I don't know if you're going to like it or not. If you have liked this video, then please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't liked it, then by all means give it the thumbs down. I do encourage you to leave comments. I love to read all the comments, and I always make sure I reply to every single comment that's left for me. So, you know, and look, there's loads and loads of Scorpios out there. No way is this reading going to resonate with all of your lives at the moment, okay? Maybe a small part of this reading may match your life. Maybe none of it will. But, you know, we have to be mindful of that. It cannot resonate with all of you. And sometimes, you know, I've done this reading for September, as I said, but sometimes the energy of the reading can take a bit longer to come around in certain people's lives. Maybe this situation may play out in somebody's life in October or November. It can sometimes be a couple of months ahead of the time period that I'm doing the reading for. So just be mindful of that as well. But anyway, there we go. This is your reading, as I said, love and relationship reading for September. I will be back again in October to do your next general reading, love and relationship reading, and I'm also going to be trying to do readings for single people, because obviously not everybody is in a relationship. So I'm going to try and get those up and running in October as well. So until then, thank you for watching. Bye.